As I said in a previous video, I'd just finished reading a book by Robert Greene, The 33 Strategies of War. And the first video was about George Patton and the two lessons that George Patton learned on fear. There's a passage also in the book that talks about the legendary director Alfred Hitchcock, which you may have known from the movie Psycho. Well, apparently Hitchcock was a very interesting director because he didn't do a lot of directing. And he was very peculiar and very interesting to a lot of actors because he wasn't your normal director where he was high strung and jumping all over the set and stuff like that and very demanding. He basically sat in his director's chair the whole time. And so actors and actresses would shoot a scene and then look over at him for feedback, and he wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't get off his chair, he wouldn't say anything. And so if it was a good scene, then they said he would actually doze off. And if it was a bad scene, he looked like he wanted to throw up. But in either case, he didn't get off his chair and say anything at all. Well, when he was filming the 39 Steps, I think like in 1935, there was a scene in there where the actor and actress were going to be handcuffed together and had to run over the Scottish hills while the villains chased after them. And these weren't any scrub actors. These were some elite actors. And so while they were filming the movie, the day before, while they were filming the movie and stuff, they were trying to figure out, okay, how does this scene need to go? And Hitchcock didn't really give them any direction, so they kind of got amongst themselves and say, okay, this is how we think this is going to have to go together. And so the day that they show up on the movie set, Hitchcock walks over to them, slaps the cuffs on both of them, and then leads them through the movie set, giving them a little bit of direction as far as how he envisions the scene to go. Well, while he's walking them through the movie set, one of his Hitchcock's assistants comes up to him and says, "We need to see you." And so Hitchcock says, "Okay, I got to go tend to some business. I'll be back." And so he reaches in his pocket, but there's no handcuffs, or no keys for the handcuffs. And so he leaves. He said, "I'll be back," but he's gone for hours. And so here it is, this actor and actress shackled together and can't depart. There's no key. And so the film crew and everybody's going about their day. Everybody's going about their way, and they're just sitting here. And they couldn't go to the bathroom. They couldn't do anything. And as time went on, they started to feel loss of control. They felt like, okay, I'm not in control of myself anymore. I'm shackled together, and I don't know when this is going to come out. And so that fear and that tension and that raw emotion started bubbling up. And so hours later, Hitchcock shows up and says, "Okay, we're ready to shoot the scene." He doesn't say a lot, as always, and they shoot the scene. And the scene goes off brilliantly. I think this is one of Hitchcock's brilliant moves, because what he did is, instead of instructing the actors how they should feel and how they should think and how they should do, he let them feel it. He let them feel the loss of control, the raw emotion, the fear. He let them feel it. And because they literally felt it, they shot the scene, and it was very, very natural. Well, here's how it transpires to us in the sales industry. And this goes to sales managers. You're too quick to take the cuffs off your salespeople and their customer. And here's what I mean by that. If you're going in too early on a TO, if you're going in too early on a deal, you're not letting your salespeople feel the raw emotion. And so you're going in there and you're taking off the handcuffs real quick and you're taking over the entire deal. The problem with that is you're stunning your salespeople's growth, because they're not able to process and work through the raw emotion, the tension, the uncertainty. Oh my God, am I losing this deal? How do I put this deal together? All those kind of different things. There's a range of emotions they have to go through. But if you go in there and do it for them, they can't feel those things. And you're taking the cuffs off too quick. I remember when I started off in sales, and I had a sales manager who would not let me get up until I got a commitment. And so while I was in there working a commitment, I would be losing the deal, I felt like. And he would walk by with his hands behind his back, kind of Mr. Miyagi style, and just walk by, but he would never come in on my deals. And it just drove me bonkers because I could see him, yet he wasn't saving me. But what it caused me to do is I had to work through all those different emotions to finally figure out how to get that commitment. And so one day I went to the desk. I finally got a commitment. I went to the desk. I was mad. And I said, you were right there. Why didn't you save me? He said, Marsh, the reason why I don't save you is this. If you don't if you don't know what it tastes like to drown, you'll never learn how to swim your way to success. And you've got to take in some of that water, and you've got to choke on it a little bit where you feel like that you can't go any further. And when you start fighting to swim, fighting to live, that's when you'll survive in the car business. And that's exactly what you have to do. And I think that's a brilliant analogy, and I'm forever grateful because 17 years later, I'm still swimming. And so what I want to urge you to do is, sales managers, is I want you to stay in touch with your deal. Know what's going on in your deal. You're not going to lose it, and they're not going to drown. They know you have their back, but don't be so quick to run in there and take the handcuffs off their deal. Let them work through the range of emotions, because what it's going to do is it's going to build their competencies up. It's going to build their confidence up. And what you're going to do is you're going to see new levels of growth, but you won't see it until they taste it a little bit. Until next time, I'm Marsh Bice, and I'll see you on the blacktop.